Alrighty, guys. Today we are going to be covering the 8 wonders of retention. So, how to retain your members longer to increase your profits. So, I know everyone on here wants to grow their fitness business. They want to earn more money, they want to help more people. And the simple fact is, we can go into the money side of things. But, guys, if you are retaining your members for longer, you are building a better and stronger community with deeper bonds, and you're also helping people get better lifelong results. Now, I don't want you to think for a second that this is easy. I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you, but it's a concurrent list of 8 things that you need to do really well to be able to retain members at a high volume. And I always say this is being able to retain 20, 30 members is very easy. Being able to retain 100, 150, 200, maybe all the way up to 1,200 members like we had in our clubs is very, very difficult, but these systems are going to make it incredibly simple. So no matter how many members you have as of today, I want you just to make sure that you are following these very, very easy to implement tips. So guys, just to start off, like before you do this, you need to really be tracking your retention rate monthly. And if you haven't been doing this, you need to go back over the last 6 months and know where you are at. Now, our baseline is you want to be holding 95% of members each month. Okay, so we had a group training facility. We did one-on-one personal training, group training, and kind of like semi-private training in our facilities. Our retention rate was 93.7 at 1,200 members. It kind of went up and down, but that's what it averaged out over the years. Our goal was to always be at 95%, but we were able to scale very, 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 very quickly by having 93.7. So I'd like you to set a goal of 95, but I'm not going to pretend for you for 1 second that we actually had 95%, but we did these things really well to be able to grow to 1,200 members and keep our members for an incredibly long time. Now, if you're unsure how to track, guys, I want you to use Google as your best friend. Okay, Google how to track gym retention rate each month, and there's a lot of really cool blogs from other experts that teach you how to do that. But essentially, it's how many members did you have at the start of the month over how many cancels, and that will give you a percentage. So if you have 100 members, you should be losing about 5 members every single month, okay, as a rough guide, but you might have to do a bit of study on that. Now, I want to add as much value to you guys today, so let's go into them. We're going to be covering trainer quality, personal touch points, attendance tracking, cards and celebrations, events, your cancel process, onboarding, and results. Okay, we piece all these things together, guys. You will have the ability to have a 7-figure fitness business or multi-7-figure fitness business if you wish. If not, you will just have an absolutely incredible and powerful brand. So the first one, guys, and I thought a lot about this, I don't want you to think any one is more important than others, but this one was very, very close to my heart because your trainer quality is so important. And I talk to fitness professionals across the board where they're scared of jumping off the floor, right? Because they don't believe in their trainers and that the service will be as good. And one of the most proudest moments of my life was when I stopped training and I realized 9 months later that I actually would never be the best trainer in my company ever again because of how good our staff were. And that was something I was really proud of. It kind of rocked my confidence a little bit, but it just shows that the trainer quality and the better trainers you have, and I know I'm making common sense to you guys here, the better your retention will be. And I want you to think that your trainers are retaining on losing members at every interaction they have. Every session, do they turn up early? Do they, turn up late? What's the quality of the session? Are they well planned out? Are the trainers actually very technically sound, to be able to run an incredibly high level session? And guys, you never want to settle for average staff. Like never, ever, ever settle for that. But one of the things I learned is you need to create great trainers. You can't just rely on finding really great trainers. Guys, I work with nearly 400 fitness professionals every single week in our Inner Circle program, okay? The very best trainers in fitness are generally running their own online business, they have their own gym, or they're doing something at an incredibly high level with their own business. The level to buy in a fitness business, I know a lot of people think it's a lot, but you can open a really great group training facility for $200,000. The buy-in is so low that the great trainers go and do their own thing. So if you're not able to have a trainer who's maybe just starting in the industry or been in for 12 months and create them into great trainers, you are always going to have very poor trainer quality. Yes, we did pick up a few diamonds in the rough, and I'm sure you have. I wouldn't rely on creating a 7-figure business or a really massive fitness business on that. You will attract the very, very best trainers, because quite simply, most of them are doing their own thing, probably a little bit like what you are at the moment. Now, when you want to really look at your trainer quality, there's a couple of really key things that we did to make sure our trainers were really world class. The first one is the onboarding, when a trainer starts with you. And guys, if you've got trainers who haven't done a proper onboarding, yes, you will have to run them through it, because instead of complaining about their lack of quality, go and do something about it. Now, in that onboarding, we had a set 12-week onboarding that covered everything from, setting up their voicemail to understanding our systems, understanding our processes. And we also aligned our trainers with a head coach who would personal train them twice per week, so they learn our methodologies, and would also make sure that they're active and completing the group classes so they could feel the customer experience that we want. We would align our junior coaches with senior coaches as we got bigger. This is probably just you in your business right now. You'll be the senior coach, to be able to really onboard them. And they would spend 2 hours or more per week with them over the first 12 weeks to really get them up to scratch and to a really, really confident level as quickly as possible. Now, after these 12 weeks, they're not the best trainers in our facility, but they are good enough. And then we're going to continually work on our trainers to make them world class. Now, guys, how we did that is we did weekly training. So they had a set 30-minute training every single week on their technical and coaching ability. So it's not as simple, guys, as just teaching your trainers how to coach a deadlift correctly, right? They need to know their internal, their external cueing. They need to know how to control the room. They also need to understand how to communicate with clients about, are they pushing Jimmy when he's lacking sleep because he just had a baby? Do they have that ability to customize sessions for each person in the room, right? Based on where they're at. Also, how do they connect with your members as well, right? Are they able to communicate with them? Do they understand to have that really high level of coaching, but also they're there to build relationships? And that's what we would cover in our weekly trainings, to just really, really focus on making them better coaches, both technically, with their skills, emotionally, also like with their nutrition and things like that as well. Now, every 90 days, we would do a 1-day event with all of our coaches. We often got people that's how I met Dan Henderson. So he used to come in and, teach our guys how to be better coaches, a lot of technical skills and things like that. We used a lot of external companies at the start, but then because a lot of our trainers were doing external events, we gave them the ability to present to the rest of our staff on what they're learning. But this 90-day event was absolutely massive for us, because we'd set our goals and our intentions as a company, would also upskill them, would do a session together, and then generally would go out and probably drink too much alcohol and have too many burgers, right? It was a good, really, really good team building event. Now, also, guys, I want you to think, and I want you to write this down as you're listening or as you're watching. How many external courses have you done? I hope it's a lot. Like legitimately, I hope you've done maybe your TRX courses, your Poliquin courses, your muscle nerds. I'm sure you have done a lot of actual technical study to be a better coach. You need to make sure your trainers do the same. Yes, we paid for it. Why did we pay for their external training? Because we knew having a really great trainer is much more profitable than having a trainer, because I'm a tight ass and I don't want to pay $2,000 for them to do a course and I just settle that they are a substandard trainer. Okay, so you want to send them on external events. Go and buy them those courses. It doesn't have to be 2K courses. There's fitness courses going literally from $99 all the way up to, 10, 20 grand. Now you want to have a budget on it, but make sure they're going out. They're doing these external courses. They're going to other gyms. They're seeing how they operate. Okay, because the better and the more involved they have, the better coaches you'll have, and they are the ones at the forefront, especially as you start to do less sessions. And then every week we'll do mentoring on their KPIs. So we'll be tracking, I'm going to talk a little bit about results tracking, but we'll be tracking how many of their retention members canceled, their session quality. We had secret shopper reports where we had members who no one knew who they were, who would come in and rate these sessions, offer a 21-point checklist, and we would deliver that to the trainers. So they got feedback from themselves, from the ownership group, but then also directly from the members as well. We'd also use like little tips and tricks like Net Promoter Score, which we use that was linked in with our software. So we knew the session quality, and our clients could deliver good, neutral, or bad feedback very, very quickly, so we could improve this. That was the overview of it, guys, of the trainer quality. There's a lot in there, but if you can spend a lot of time on here, especially if you're someone who complains about your casual trainers or your full-time trainers, unless you're hitting all this, there is no reason for you to complain, because we just haven't put in the systems just yet. Now, once you've done this, guys, you've got amazing trainers. That's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. But now with amazing trainers, they need to be able to follow the rest of the retention systems. Okay, so we would use personal touch points, guys, and it's just a special touch point that makes your members feel special and cared for. Now, when members come to your facility, they're there to get a result. They might want to lose weight, get stronger, release from injury, whatever it might be. Now, we had a facility where our coaches looked after all the retention. So I stopped doing this retention kind of stuff like 5 years ago, right? And I sold my gyms last year. So I wasn't doing it for a very long time, but I was able to look over it with myself and my business partners to look over all the results of everyone in the facility. So how we did that, we had a set rule that every client within our business had to have a personal touch point every 14 days. And yes, some members, as you guys will know listening to this, they need more touch points. There were some members we texted 2-3 times a week, okay, because that's what they needed to reach their goals. And it's all about what we need to do to get them the result and them to have the support they need. But at the very, very minimum, it should be a 14-day touch point, which we did via text. You're able to use this using ACR systems or simply your personal mobile phone. Now, we had full-time coaches, okay, and they were able to look after 100 plus clients on this rotating schedule, because, they were maybe doing their 15 to 21 hours of classes. They have another 17 hours in there where they can really focus on this retention and making sure people are getting results. So we would have lists of like 50 people, 2 different lists that a certain trainer would look after. They've got to contact the 50 on week 1 and then the other 50 on week 2, and then they rotate through it. Now, when we were teaching our trainers how to do this contact, right, you've got to use the SPEAR principle: short, personalized, expecting a response. Make sure they're not copying, pasting text to 50 people and cutting corners, and that they're really building that connection, and that when they're messaging, it's actually a coaching element to make someone better, okay, or to fire them up, right, that they're doing really well. You've really got to cover this, and you've got to train your trainers incredibly well, because as humans, we like to cut corners. And if you cut corners on this, they feel like they're just in a robotic system where everyone gets a message on a Monday and it actually doesn't solve the need. You'd be pretty much better off not contacting them. Now, another big one, guys, we had 24-week contracts in our business. So people would do 28 days into 24 weeks. Now, we hired like a specific retention coach to look over absolutely everything, because there was times in our business where our retention rate was like 87% when we're scaling. We had a lot of issues with this. I'm not going to pretend for a second we're perfect. Now, the biggest metric that we could track in terms of usage was, were the members using the facility 3 or more times per week? 3 or more times per week. You hit that, it'll be a big nail in the coffin of retaining your members for a very long time. So firstly, you have to track it. And just know, guys, it's just like you. If you have a Netflix membership and you're not using Netflix, you're going to cancel it after a while, right? Same in a gym and fitness facility. If they're not using it, they're going to cancel. It might be a week away, it might be a month away, it might be 2 months away, but they're going to be out of here. Okay, no one likes to spend money for nothing. No one on the planet. So we would track the under 3 sessions per week and would contact them on a Monday. But I want to make this really clear for you guys. Don't contact me and go, hey, Jimmy, you only trained 2 times last week. Is everything okay? Stupid text message, and you're identifying the problem. What you want to make sure that you do is that you get them to attend more in a way that doesn't point out that they're not attending. So like, hey, Jimmy, got some really awesome classes on Thursday. We've redone like the boxing schedule. I'm going to be on in the morning. Can I see you there? Right? So then that way you're getting them excited to come in, and you're not identifying the big pain point that they have when they're not using it. But also as well, guys, and I know this is going to be common sense for a lot of people listening or watching, but contacting members who miss sessions, cancel a session within, your 8-hour window, every single day. We'd contact them in 12 hours. So in the mornings, if we had our clients who missed a session when they booked in or they cancelled the session the night before, we'll check in and make sure that they're booked in for the evening and they're going to do their makeup session, right? Of an evening, we didn't contact them of an evening. We actually contacted them the next morning because our classes finished at like 7:30, 8 p.m. But make sure, guys, that you are contacting your members who are missing sessions or canceling. Same goes with any appointments and things like that. We're in this support accountability business and you want to make sure everything's okay. But also once everything's okay, you want to make sure they're staying on track to their goals. And we would run a lot of engagement challenges to increase our attendance and the usage within the clubs. So guys, we ran probably about 100 different types of these. I'm going to give you a couple of ones that worked really well. Coming into December, we had a challenge called Slay Santa, which was a 21-day training challenge. They had to do 12 sessions or more over a 21-day period to enter the draw to win a prize. The reason for that is because we know attendance dips in December, so we organized some really kick-ass prizes and made it like a fun little game that they could do in teams of 2 to 4 people, so they're actually training together. Now, we use MyZone in our facilities, which is an incredible retention tactic that you can use and a really great tool. And that's what gave us events like March Madness, where, you know, we got AM classes to compete against PM classes to see who can burn the most average maps. We had club against club competing against each other. We did things like Beat the Bosses, where my business partner Connor kind of ran like a rabbit. And all the clients were like greyhounds trying to catch how many maps he did. And then if they beat him, they got a prize, right? These usage challenges, these engagement challenges to create excitement. And one of my favorite ones was actually our teams challenge. So what we did is we got teams of people in groups of 4 to 6, and they had 4 to 5 challenges that they had to do together over a month. One of them was like do a session in the gym and get a photo together, post on Instagram. They had to like walk on Manly Beach. They had to do like an outdoor workout together, have coffee together, just some fun little activities, right, to really spice up the usage of the facility and get them to spend more time with their health and fitness in a fun and different way. Now, to take anything home on this, guys, the biggest one is to make sure you contact the members doing under 3 sessions per week. But when you're really well planned, guys, because we would plan our retention calendar. We had a marketing calendar. We also had a retention calendar that we mapped 12 months ahead of time. Now, the next one's just about making your clients feel good, right? Cards and celebrations. If it's your client's birthday, card, text, call, whatever you want to do with your system, make sure you acknowledge it. And ex-members as well. I have a member in the inner circle. He regularly signs up like 2 to 3 members a month by just sending his ex-members happy birthday texts. Phenomenal, right? But make sure you acknowledge their great results, right? If they like hit a PB on their rower 1K, or they're getting stronger, or they're losing weight, make sure you acknowledge it. We used to like to send a lot of cards. We had a KPI of 20 cards sent per week. We would also text message them, and there's also certain times we would call people. We would send like gifts to people's work. We had members who did 500 and 1,000 sessions, would send gift and prize packs and celebratory things to their work, depending on how big it is, guys. And then make sure you track the milestones as well. Okay, very, very important that if someone hits 5, 10, 15, 20 kilo weight loss or any other type of milestone that you're tracking, that you're really, really acknowledging that. And that's where we use the wall of fame. So we had a wall of fame, which was Polaroid images of people hitting certain milestones or their goals. So when they hit it, they got a photo and they got to sign it and it go on our wall of fame, which was really, really good because they had a sense of ownership. But then also as well across the board, it was a really good sales tactic for new people coming into the facility because they saw these absolute kick-ass results. Guys, would also give apparel to people. We're really big on apparel, and I must pick up that off my ex-business partner, Connor, I was kind of a bit anti-apparel at the start, if I'm being really honest, but he was really big on it. It's one of the best things that we ever did. Giving people for apparel and special things to wear for 100 sessions, 200 sessions, 300 sessions, 400 and beyond, so they have a sense of ownership and they could wear it like an absolute badge of honor, right, within the facility. So it started to set different levels because there was literally people in our clubs who had 1,000 member singlets, and they would wear that, and you kind of know who the bosses are at that stage when it says like done 1,000 sessions at code 5. And guys, just the final one on, you know, cards and celebrations and how you treat your members. make sure you track your top percent of members, top 10% of members. So we use MindBody, which was great, where we could track the top 10% of members who have paid us the most money over our lifetime or over the last year. Now, there are certain members who are going to do your group training, they're going to do PT, they're going to spend 5K on your retreats when you set them up, they're going to buy all their protein from you, they are going to spend more money than the average person. I'm not going to pretend for a second you treat everyone in your business the same. You treat your top 10% of members like they are the fucking top 10% of business and people in your business. We would take them for wine nights. We would like do special events for them. They would have an ambassadors club. They would get discounts. They would get, very, very special Christmas gift that others didn't. Because these guys are paying us nearly 1.5 to 2 times more money than everyone else. So you need to make sure you harness those top 10% of members. You treat them like the top 10% of members because they are probably paying 10, 15, maybe 20% of your revenue when you calculate that up. Then monthly events. These were like my favorites, guys. I think, doing like very special events outside. And we want to think about everyone kind of talks like we have a community gym where everyone gets together. When you look at their marketing calendar, it's not really anything very special. Okay. So with your events, you want to make them special, guys. Okay. Monthly events, we would often do more. Yes, in our facilities, we had 300 plus members, right? We had 4 full-time staff. We can get more done than average. You guys just need to make sure that you're doing one monthly event. If you do more, that's great, right? But a very, very well-run event each month will create a very special bond within your community. So we did charity events where, one of our members went through cancer, right? Where we raised money for that charity, got around her, got around the family, the community able to get around. Many different charity events because we ran these every 90 days. In summer, we did specialty beach sessions and Sandhill Warrior workouts where we went and trained at a special location. We worked with this guy named Rob, who's called the Sandhill Warrior. We filmed it, we recorded it, we got photos, made it a really special event where we had, breakfast after and things like that. Guys, Christmas in July and your Christmas party. Make sure you tick those off each and every single year. Doesn't have to be massive. Our parties initially started at like a picnic together when we were smaller, leading up to like very, very big events that, took a lot more time to plan as we got bigger. It's just about doing the event that's very well. Don't let the size or the time ever distract you, right? Just focus on setting up really, really good quality events that match your budget and where you're at the moment. And then as you get bigger, yes, you will run bigger and more special events. We'll do specialty sessions. So we did like specialty sessions like with seminars on how to use MyZone properly, how to track your heart rate correctly. We did regular internal seminars. We did like acrobatics yoga. We did like Pilates blocks. A lot of like just different things just to change up their training and get them moving more. And also as well, guys, get them around your external events. So if you guys have been following my journey a bit, we sponsored like a local AFL club. So we'd invite our clients down to Ladies' Day and to like the first round of the year and like our members around that. There was like certain charity events or running events in the local community like Sunrun or Taparama, and we'd make sure that we support that. So whether 5 people come or 50 people come, you're just building this really amazing community and family where you do everything together and they have options outside of their training to socialize. And then regular things that we did. So we did monthly beers and banter, which was very, very successful. We actually learnt this from a gym in San Diego. They did tacos and beers, but just once a month we had our Friday night session where everyone could have 1 or 2 beers and drive home. Really great connection piece where you just got to spend more time with people. We'd also plan a wow moment each month. So what we did each month is plan a very special thing that no one knew about that really, really just made the day a little bit special. So we'd give our members fruit or we'd give them chocolates on Valentine's Day. We'd organize a DJ. We'd get Chobani yogurt to come down where everyone gets yogurt. Just like something that's like, wow, that was a really, really nice touch that the gym did for me today, made it a little bit special. Okay. And then a really big one, guys, I talk about this a lot, is coffee on Saturdays. If you have time, if you can implement it, you want to build an amazing community. After your block of class on a Saturday, take the members out for coffee and spend some time connecting with them outside of the gym. I learnt this off my first mentor, Mark Richardson. We built up a coffee club, and then it just started to run without us, and it's still running to this day. It's absolutely amazing. We've only got 3 more, guys. Sorry, it's a little bit of a longer episode, but I really needed to cover this in a lot of detail for you guys. The next one is you need to actually try and save your cancels. I sometimes shake my head when we look over people's cancellation procedures and they just actually don't try. So you've got to make sure that you actually have a crack at saving them. And what I say is, like, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, look, Jimmy cancelled for my gym. I gave 100% of my best effort to save him and to help him reach his goals. That's all you can do. If you're not doing that right now, you need to have a look at yourself in the mirror and step up, or your team needs to step up. I'm sorry to say it very directly. Now, how we ran through our cancellation procedure is, firstly, you've got to make sure they fill out a cancellation form. So you know why they're canceling, what their pain points are, you know, what led them to cancel, and a couple of quick questions, which is all built out in ACR if you're using that, or if you want it, you can just email me at any time or send me a message on social media. But then we'll organize an exit interview. Now, guys, they don't want to do the exit interview. No one does, right? Just like if you're in a program now, a lot of people just want to cancel and cancel. Okay, so don't expect that this is going to be easy to have exit interviews with all of your clients, right? If it's in your contract, it's in your contract. But even if it is, they still don't want to do it, right? So you need to make an effort to touch base with them. And as simple as this sounds, this is how we got our exit interview sorted. Jimmy, I just saw that you wanted to cancel. I am so shattered to see you leave. Do you have a couple of minutes just to have a chat about what your next steps are in your health and fitness? Right? So that way the trainers and the managers or yourself, right, you're identifying that you should be sad whenever anyone leaves. You're just touching base very, very briefly. Now, because you've already got this form, on this exit interview, guys, if you don't save them, you're going to get really, really good feedback. And we would always use, hey, we're a very small local business. Any feedback you have on why you're canceling would be absolutely phenomenal. But you're going to get really, really great traction on this. Because if you become a better coach, right? Because most of the time when people cancel, they're not getting a result. They're not fulfilling a need that they have. It can be a time objection. It could be a money objection. It could even be a location objection where you might transfer them into your online program, which I know absolutely every gym owner would have, and you'd be very foolish to stop it. It's probably an episode for another day, right? But become a better coach. Identify what the reason is they're canceling, what they're missing. Maybe you need to upgrade their package so they get more support and accountability, like Nico did with a client today, one of our inner circle members. Or maybe potentially at times you need to downgrade them. And we would have these, like, our armory of tools that we could use to save everyone, that included like free PT sessions. We gave them like discounts for a month or so if they were going through financial duress. Once you start to get these interviews and start to get the data, you can really build things to make sure that you retain members. And you've got to just be really, really savvy at handling objections. Because when someone cancels, they're giving you objection, time objection, money objection, local, locality, like where they are in the local area objection. They might be moving to Spain, right? You can train them online if you don't want to lose them and you want to increase their lifetime value by a year or two, right? The more crafty that you get, the better you'll get at saving these people. And guys, what I used to say to my team, and I'm saying to you, whatever it takes, calls, texts, emails, cards, whatever it takes for us to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, we did absolutely everything 100% to save that person. And then if you don't save them, make sure you follow up with them using your war plans and emails and things like that. Now, the last 2, guys, I'm going to cover, which is onboarding and results tracking. So you need to make sure you onboard your clients really, really well. Now, someone comes, they've joined at your gym, they're making decisions whether they stay for the long term very, very quickly. Make sure you set your members up for success early, okay? They know where the bathrooms are. They know where to park. They know when you're going to reach out to them. They know about how to book in for classes. They know where to reach out if they have any questions. And I highly recommend, guys, when someone's starting, you need to talk to them more rather than when they've been a member for a year. So we would do like texts and calls just to make sure that they've got everything okay, and that also as well, they feel that every question they have is answered about getting meal plans and all that kind of stuff. Now, this first setup was automated and with human touch points. So you really need to look at all the information that they need and make sure you give it at the right times. And you need to look over your onboarding procedures very, very often just to make sure at the highest level. But one of the things people don't do often in onboarding is actually set the standards of what you expect for them. So we're talking about a lot of things. So if you're going to text them, set a standard that you expect them to reply. Set a standard that your members in your facility train 3 or more days per week. We've covered so many things in here, right? Set the standards that when they hit a milestone, they go on the wall and they get a card and they get a piece of apparel. Let them know all of this stuff that you want them to do so they know how to win. Don't make it like imaginary on what you want them to do. Tell your members exactly what your best members do, how to be your best member, and what you're expecting and what you will give them. Right? There's two standards, what they will do for you and what you will do for them. You set those very, very clearly and it ups the level of your whole business, because I hope you're someone that if you say you'll do something, you will do it, which is why setting the expectations of what you will do for them is just as important as setting their standards of what they will do for you. In your onboarding, guys, it's personal touch points and there is automations. We had automated like emails and some texts that just checked in, but there was also personal touch points in, their meetings with their scans and things like that. So you just want to make sure you have the combination of both. And you're always selling on future success. So we gave them a lot of testimonials, a lot of case studies. We buddied up new members with some of our OGs who had been with us for like 3 and 5 years, so that then they had a friend and someone that they could meet in the gym at their same class times who could really guide them through. Because guys, some of your members who have been there for 3 to 5 years, they know everything about your business, how to run sessions and things like that. So having that OG who can really guide them through makes a really big difference. And the last one, guys, which is the most important to me personally, because I got into the fitness industry because I was super overweight, right? Incredibly overweight, incredibly unhappy with my body. Results changed the man I am. And when I had a gym, I wanted to make sure that we focused heavily on results. They came to get a result. It is your job and your coach's job to deliver. Don't ever think for a second that it's okay to let people not move towards their goals and aspirations. We are in the life transformation business, whether that's strength, fitness, weight loss, mindset. Focus on this at all times. Now, where a couple of people go wrong with this and where we went wrong and some things that we implemented to overcome it, you must be tracking results fortnightly. So we used our in-body scanners in there. We wanted to get a DEXA machine, but it was a logistical nightmare. So we had in-body scanners in there where our members would pop on weekly or fortnightly and text message it to their coach. So you see how a lot of these retention tactics are tying into each other, which is why you might have to rewatch this episode or this video a couple of times. Right? But make sure you're tracking them fortnightly. You're actually writing them down in a document, or you know where they are so you know they're moving in the right direction, and coach them accordingly off it. We would focus our coaching on one habit change until that change has really been embedded into their life. Then we would go on more changes. We focused heavily on how well our trainers could actually coach people to get results. We would also do fitness and strength testing every 12 weeks. Not all results are weight loss, body fat loss, muscle gain, right? Are they getting fitter? Are they getting stronger? And one of the really, really crown jewels that really helped our retention and also how much members knew we cared about them was when a member starts with you, I hope you're doing like a really comprehensive goal setting session where they want to be over the next, 28 days, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. Now, what we found in our systems is we treated our newest members better than our members who had been with us for like a year. And one of the really big things we found was that we weren't resetting all of our members' goals. So we would reset every member's goals every 12 weeks, where they would get a customized video on what they need to do over the next 12 weeks to move closer to their goals. We did this using ACR with text messages and emails, and then using Loom. And this simple thing here, treating your members every 12 weeks like they are a new member, getting them fired up, teaching them some things they need to do better, and knowing how you can support them. Because people's goals change quite regularly. They might have had something happen in their family, or read a blog on the internet, or watched a video on YouTube where it's changed some of their thoughts and what they want to achieve. And if you're not on top of that and they do not feel heard, or if they do not feel they are in the right place, obviously they will leave and they will go find a solution, And there's a plethora of solutions out there, both gyms and online at the moment. So you need to make sure you're on top of that. And guys, what we would say to our trainers, do whatever it takes to get a result to build our brand. Now, obviously not stupid stuff, right? Make sure if they need a meal plan, they get a meal plan. If they need to see a nutritionist, we would refer them to a nutritionist. If they need to do personal training over groups, we would let them do that. Whatever we need to do to help that person move towards their goals. Yes, a lot of it we kept internally, but there was times where we referred out to specific experts or coaches or rehab experts to help that person move forward so they could continue training with us for the long term. So guys, a little bit of a longer video and podcast today. I hope you got an absolute incredible amount of value. You're probably going to have to rewatch this over a couple of times just to let you know it took us around 6 months to implement all of these tactics. Start with one, start to build it out. You do one a month. You have your systems in your checklist to be able to consistently deliver on it. So it's done both by yourself and the rest of your team. And you will be in the very, very top 1% of fitness businesses on the planet if you are able to implement all of these tactics.